Hey guys, be sure to like and subscribe. Today we're going to be talking about Hong Kong and why it should be a lesson to the world about China. As you guys remember, when the lease ran out on Hong Kong with Britain, China took over and they had an agreement that after so many years, it would revert back to China and they could do basically whatever they wanted. What they did was they went in there and they kind of strong-armed everybody and took over everything and turned it into what they wanted to turn it into. And that should be a strong lesson to the world about what China is all about. And it should have never been allowed. Okay, it should have never been allowed because they made an agreement and they broke the agreement immediately. So their agreements mean squat now in the world. And it's not just Hong Kong. I mean, people are saying, well, China's like a paper tiger or something like that. They really aren't. Because they took over the Paracells, the Spratlys, and a few other places they took over, and they're trying to get it back into Taiwan. And if they take over Taiwan, they basically run chip manufacturing from there on in, and can shut down the U.S. and all these other countries just by controlling chips. Now, one of the companies in Taiwan, I guess, is trying to open up in the United States, but it won't be up and running for a while. Those chip manufacturing plants take a lot to get ready and up and running. And I've worked in a company that used to make the stalkers, where they used to stock all the wafers for the chips and stuff like that a long time ago. So I have a running knowledge of the tech that goes in there. And that was a long time ago. So today, I can only imagine the tech that's in there. I mean, you need clean rooms, things like that. So to get these up and running, it's pretty big. But here's the thing, guys. This is what we have to worry about. Is if we don't get these things, we can't make cars. It throws us back into the Stone Age unless we can get these chip plants up and running and manufacturing all the chips that we need. So I mean, you guys got to understand this, that once Taiwan gets taken over, it's just one step. That's just one piece of the pie for them. You know, they're going to want more. They're already over in Africa strip mining all these different countries of all the different things that they need. Rare earth minerals and rare earth metals, things like that. All these different things that they need, especially the rare earths. That's what they're looking for because they use them for their military. Everything uses those rare earths in the military, especially for high-tech weaponry, missiles, things like that. So we have to keep in mind that China is a big military complex, just kind of like the U.S. a little bit in a different way, but they're not really seeking out peace. And the United States is trying to keep things under control so people will not be controlled by the communists. And as these people go into these, as China goes into these countries and tries to take over these countries, either by buying the politicians out or throwing money at them, giving them loans with strings attached, that if they don't pay back, we get to strip all your oil out, or all your gold, or all your silver, or what have you, or the rare earth metals in that area, whatever they need, fish, whatever. I mean, pretty much they're already going around stealing all the world's fish because they got so many people there, they can't keep up with the food supply for that amount of people. And also, the country's getting ready to fall financially. So now is the time when a country's having problems financially, that's the best time for them to have a war, because then you start printing money and things start coming back a little bit. So I kind of think that they're thinking with that mentality, and it's a sad way of thinking, unfortunately, because a lot of people die for them to print money. But it's the way the world works, kind of. There's a lot more to this than just what I'm saying. And I know a lot of people disagree with me on some things that I put out on here. This is just my perspective on this. And, I know a lot of people on here disagree with me, and they think that China's just going to sit there idly. Well, they haven't been sitting there idly. Tibet, they pretty much took Tibet. They took Hong Kong, they took the Paracel Islands, they took the Spratlys. Don't think that they're not going to go into Taiwan, because they will. They will. They're not worried because nothing was done all these other times. So the time is right for them to go into Taiwan. The problem is when, and will the United States, will the UK, will all these other countries jump in? I think Japan will. I think the UK will. I hope the U.S. will. Do I want war? Hell no, I don't want war. I don't think anybody wants that, especially for all us expats living in the Philippines here. War is the last thing we need here. We don't need that. If Taiwan gets taken, or if the United States gets involved, I think the Philippines could take some hits here. I think that they might go after some of the bases that we're taking off here. If we're taking off from here to go up to Taiwan to defend Taiwan or anything like that, or if we're sending weaponry from here up there, yeah, the Philippines is probably going to be involved, unfortunately. And they may want to try to take it over here. You know, it could happen. We don't know. We don't know what China's trying to do. And, you know, their fishing boats are really not fishing boats. They're kind of intelligence gatherers, but they do fishing sometimes too. So when they had 200 or 300 ships off the coast here, supposedly fishing, yeah, they were fishing, but fishing for information and fishing out the area. And if we do go to war with them, they could use those ships to send people in here covertly. When you got 300 ships like that and they're landing on different beaches at different times, think about that for a second. You know, because is the Philippines going to be able to defend themselves from 300 ships if they have, let's say, 200 or 300 people on board each one, and they're offloading all these people onto these different islands or something like that? There's a lot to think about here. I mean, that might not happen. Who knows? I'm just throwing that out there as an idea. These people are way ahead sometimes in some of their thinking. They've been thinking this out for a long time, and you know, they're into the art of war and all this stuff. And it's a slow game with them. They don't care if they win the war in 1 year or 1,000 years, as long as they win the war for China. And that's the thing about China we have to be afraid of. So, guys, you know, don't be naive about China. Seriously. If you go on 60 Minutes, you can watch 60 Minutes Australia, I should say. Go on 60 Minutes Australia on YouTube and check out all their stuff on there. They have a lot of stuff on China. If you really want to learn some stuff on China, go to 60 Minutes Australia. There's more on there too. There's a lot of good sites about China. It's coming. It's coming. In my book, I believe it's coming. Do I think the United States is safe? We've talked about this before. I don't think the United States is safe. But I did want to throw out there about Hong Kong, because a lot of you guys aren't considering Hong Kong. You're not considering the Spratlys. You're not considering the Paracels. You're not considering Tibet, that these places were taken by China. A lot of guys are saying, well, China never invaded any other countries. Yes, they have. Absolutely they have. That's naive thinking. To think that the Spratlys don't belong to the Philippines when the International Court has already said, yes, it belongs to the Philippines. And these other islands are off of Vietnam, belong to Vietnam. You know, and Tibet was its own country. And Hong Kong had freedoms written out in some sort of agreement with China and the UK that it was going to be left alone for so many years, but China could run it, but it would be run under its own kind of government, and China could kind of watch it. And instead they broke that agreement, and guess what? Then they went in there and took over and took away people's freedoms and everything, and those people were sent off, you know, to prisons and everything, the people that disagree with those people. So be careful what we think, guys, because a lot of people, they throw out attacks on me and other people that believe that China is going to be doing some damage in the world or taking over Taiwan or other countries. Be careful what we think. We have to, before you make an argument, make sure you read your history. I've read my history. I read up on China. I've followed China for a long time. I read up on political things a lot. That's what I read mostly. It's my number one thing that I read. I don't like to talk too much about American politics and stuff like that. This is world politics, and it's something as expats that we do have to talk about. Unfortunately, it's the elephant in the room right now. And anyway, guys, I just want to kind of throw that out there. That's my perspective on this. And I think we got some things coming soon. We've talked about this many times. And I want to throw that out there because a lot of people are saying, Steve, you don't know what you're talking about. China's never taken over any other countries. You know, you don't know what you're talking about. They have. But you guys got to wake up and pull your head out of the sand, guys. Anyway, God bless, guys. Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's show, guys.